Hello, everybody. My name is Debbie Lynn Toomey, Tufts Medical Center's Injury Prevention Coordinator. You're watching Aging Strong, which is sponsored by the Quincy Health Department. Today's guest is Deputy Sheriff Cheryl Banbury, and she is going to talk about fall prevention, the Yellow Dot system, and the Are You OK program. And I'm very excited because, as you all know, this program, Aging Strong, centers around educating and empowering older adults with information that is relevant and also useful that can help us live better lives. So, Cheryl, welcome.
Thank you very much. And on behalf of the Norfolk County Sheriff's Office and Sheriff Patrick McDermott, I'd like to thank you for giving us this opportunity to speak with you and let you know about all the great programs that we have in the senior program division.
Yeah, very good. Because as you probably know, we were talking, and from our meetings, you know that I do a lot of programs in local senior centers in South Shore, Greater Boston, and now virtually I'm able to do it across the Commonwealth. But there are some programs that you offer that I'm not sure too many older adults are aware of, and that's why I'm really excited to have you on. So, why don't you get started? Tell us about what you have to share with us.
So, out of all of the counties in Massachusetts, Sheriff McDermott's made it possible that Norfolk County has like the most programs available for the seniors, and there's a variety of programs, but we're going to touch upon the most important program that I love, and that's one of my favorites that started in 2002, which is the Are You OK program. The Are You OK program is a free program, and all it takes is a phone call to sign up. The phone call alone takes 14 seconds, and you call our number, and I will give it to you, but we'll put it up, I think, at the end, 1-866-900-7865. You call that number, and you can just sign up by the phone. And what it is, it's a phone call that calls, and it takes 14 seconds. And all you have to do is answer the phone, and you hear my lovely voice saying, "Good morning. This is the sheriff's office. Are you okay?" You respond yes, and you hang up. And if you're not okay, you say no, and I take over and figure out what's wrong. I'll call you right back. So basically, a lot of people are afraid, oh, is it a robocall? Is it this? Is it that? No, it's a robocall, but it's me monitoring every call, or a staff from the sheriff's office. We monitor the call. So we listen for different things, like if you don't answer the call within 10 minutes, or it's busy for 3 times in 15 minutes, we'll give you up to a half an hour to respond. We'll try you. We'll try your neighbors or friends that you've given us their contact information to contact. And as a last resort, we call the police just to do a well-being check. And the well-being check is when they just go over, they're not going to knock your doors down or break in. What they're going to do is they're just going to knock on your door. They're going to try to call you themselves, and they're going to check with friends and neighbors just to see if they've seen or heard from you. And it's one of those programs that just reassures you and your family that you're going to be okay. You're not going to be on the ground for hours at a time. And it's also very flexible. You could be on it, it's Monday through Friday from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. And you pick the hour that you want to get called at. And usually I say to people, it's when you're up and you're getting ready to start your day, or right after your caregiver leaves, or something to that nature. But what it does is it's just one of those things, and people will say, I have the Lifeline. Well, to have the Lifeline is great, and to have any kind of measure that will keep you safe. But this is just an added bonus to have the Are You OK program. And it's so underused. I mean, we have the capacity for so many more seniors or people with disabilities to utilize the program, but we don't. I mean, we need to get more people on the program, and it's free. Why wouldn't you have it? That's what I say to people.
Exactly. Can I just ask you a few questions? So as far as the sign up, you said there's a number to call to be a part of the list, and it's robocall-like. It doesn't mean it's impersonal, but it just means it's a way for the sheriff's department to be able to do their work in an efficient way, so that they can call out a lot of people and still check on them, which is great. Now, the police well-being check, is there a cost to that?
No, so we have an agreement with each and every city and town in the 28 cities and towns in Norfolk County. So it's called a procedural agreement. So they will tell us like how they want us to proceed. Try the family members first, check the hospitals first, and then call us last. And some of the smaller cities and towns, they want us to call them first. So like for Medway, for example, they're like, before you call anybody, call us and we'll go check on the individual. And 9 times out of 10, a lot of people are afraid that when we do contact someone that they're going to get all alarmed and all things like that. But whenever we contact someone, they know where you are, or they said, oh, she told me she had an appointment, or, oh, she left unexpectedly and, wanted me to let you know. So, and then it works on the reverse side also, because I have a lot of family members calling me and saying, do you know where my mom is? Or have you talked to my dad today? Because I can't get in touch with them. And, I will know if I've talked to them or not and inform them. So it's a win-win for both sides.
Mm-hmm. And if the line is busy for some reason, maybe they didn't put the phone on the hook correctly, what would happen then?
So the phone is busy with three times in 15 minutes, then my computer will issue an alert, but I'll know anyway because I'm listening. And then we just keep trying to get in touch with them. Then we'll call a family member or friend to maybe text them to see if they can pick up. And if not, we'll just have a neighbor go over and say, hey, your phone might be off the hook. Or, it could be they fell down and they dropped the phone. Also, we've had a lot of those things happen. So we send the police. If we still can't get anybody to respond or to check, we'll have the police go over and just check on them.
Okay, so people can either give, when they sign up for the program, they can either give their landline, because people still own landlines,
Yes.
or they could use their cell phone number, correct?
Yes, cell phone number or landline, whatever they're more comfortable with, whatever is most accessible to them when they decide the time they want to get their call.
Okay. And if people decide, 9 o'clock would be great, but then they say, I signed up for 9, but I think 10 is better. How would that happen? How would they change the time?
They just call me and it takes 2 seconds to change over. The program is very flexible. A lot of people use it, only in the summer. Some people use it only when their family is on vacation. Some people use it after a hospital stay. But some people I've had that have been on the program have been on it for like 20 years.
Oh, okay.
A lot of my people have outlived their family and friends, and this is the only phone call that they get every day.
Wow.
And it's the personal touch that a lot of people that are so isolated need these days.
Okay, so just backing up. So you said if people are going away on vacation for like maybe 2 weeks, they could call the office and just put it on pause.
Yes.
Oh, great. But they just need to, do they need to
let me know? Yeah. Yep,
Okay.
they go on call for a no call status. A lot of people go away for the winter. They'll say, stop calling me December 1st and restart my calls May 1st, or when I call you back. So it's great, very flexible.
Oh, fantastic. Okay. Thank you.
Yes. A lot of these things, like over the years, we've like saved or assisted over 250 seniors, which means anywhere where they haven't responded, we've sent someone to check on them. They have found them on the ground. Or during COVID, it was a great asset to the communities because no one was able to go into the homes. So they would tell me and I'd say, oh, you need your medication? Let me get in touch with your daughter. Or you have no food. Let me get in touch with someone that can get you food, or things like that. So it's, it comes in handy in all different situations that may pop up.
Oh my goodness. Oh yes, definitely. Because, as you mentioned, some people outlive their spouse or, siblings or whatever, and they're the only ones. And boy, it can really take care of the issue of loneliness and, not being able to, reach out to the community, especially if people just don't know what's available to them. So it's really good to have this system.
Yes. And also, I just was thinking of something that happened this morning. So if there's a couple and one of them may have dementia or memory issues, one of my gentlemen said to me, if I don't answer and my wife does, then call someone to come check on us, because that means there's a problem. So that it works in that situation also.
Yeah, that's a very good.
It's just all different, situations that it works in. And I'm just trying to think that there's a million examples. I had a gentleman that was having company and he couldn't, get his heat to work, and he was having a very, bad time, and he was very upset. So I called the senior center, and they sent someone over and they helped him fix his heat. So it's just like little things like that. But to those people that have nobody else, it's a big thing, you know?
No, I mean, it's such a wonderful system. And I hope through this program today, your people are able to, realize how valuable, such a simple program can be. But gosh, having somebody to be able to use as a resource, as a backup is integral, so integral. And, my background is nursing, and I used to take care of patients a long time ago who have been, taken to the ER, broken hip, lived by themselves. They fell, they were found 3 days later. I can't even imagine the suffering that patient had to endure until he or she was found. And to have such a program like the Are You OK is just so, I can just find so many great uses for that.
Yes. And a lot of times people will say to me, well, if I don't answer, well, I may be in the bathroom, or, well, I may be in the shower. Well, I don't assume anything. I have to make sure that you're okay. I have to talk to you or have someone that physically has eyes on you that knows you're definitely okay. I'm not going to assume that you're in the bathroom, because I've had a lot of situations where seniors have fallen in the bathroom, and that's where we find them. Or I have situations, and like, I'm not a medical expert or have any training as you do, but they'll say to me, well, I fell last night, my head's still bleeding. What do you think I should do? And it's not that, I just say, well, maybe we'll have someone come over and check it out. I never give them medical advice, but I just kind of push them towards the way to maybe get some help. They just don't want to be a burden to anybody, Yeah. So it's just to give them that little nudge. And, being on the program so long, some of them, they're trusting. They trust me.
Yeah, that's great. That's wonderful. Wonderful. So you said it's underutilized. What do you mean by that? I mean, obviously not. How come it's underutilized?
Well, we have just developed a really big community engagement team. So we're getting out there more now. We have more staff to go spread the word, which is great. But I mean, I've gone to Council on Aging. I go to hospitals, to the caseworkers that discharge people, rehab centers. I go everywhere, just church groups, just to let people know that it's available. But unless I sit with them and actually fill out the application with these people, then they won't. They say, oh, yeah, I'll call you tomorrow. And then you never do. So it's more hands-on. You have to like boots to the ground and get out there and just sit with them and sign them up. I mean, yeah. I go all over the 28 cities and towns, and there's so many assisted livings, and there's so many different groups that know of people that could use these programs.
Yeah,
they just don't.
Yeah,
so it's people like you who can spread our word.
Yeah. I mean, you know what? You raised such a good point, because, I've certainly have been one of those people who, grab applications and I want to be a part of this. I want to sign up for this. I come home and I leave my stack of paper on the table, and then, boy, it's time to eat, make dinner. And then you put that stack aside and then you lose it. So, out of sight, out of mind. So yeah, I think you're right. It has to be like bootstrap, helping people fill it out in real time. So that way they know it's done. They know they're a part of something great. They don't have to try to remember something, because that's also anxiety provoking for some people, trying to feel like, I don't want to forget something. So, helping people just get something done. They don't have to remember to try to do it. Perfect.
Yes. And a lot of times I find that children of aging parents will call me and say, I'm going to sign my mom up, or I'm going to sign my dad up, without their parents really knowing. So I always say to them, well, I'm going to call and introduce myself and reassure them that this is exactly what happens with the program. They do not have to be on it if they do not want to be. And then I say to the son or daughter, I will state your case, like, this is good. It will, for your children, because then they don't have to worry as much. They can go on about their day. They can check in with you, but they know that if you're not okay, that I'm going to call and let them know that you're not okay.
What other programs do you offer?
So we have the Are You OK program, which I just spoke about. I also want to talk about the Yellow Dot program. And the Yellow Dot program is pretty unique because it's in a lot of other states, but mostly out in the southern states. But we have it here. And what that is we have a yellow dot that you can put on the back driver's side window. And inside your glove compartment, you would have an envelope with your picture on the front. So when a first responder or someone, the fire, the medics, the police, see that yellow dot, they are trained to go to look in the glove compartment to see what is inside there in your picture. So that information contains your medical history and who to contact because of the accident. And there's a thing called the golden hour. It's the hour after an accident where it could be a matter of life and death. But if they have your medical information that's provided for them in the glove compartment, that's a bonus to help them get you what you need. I mean, like if you're on a blood thinner, that's why there's blood. If, you have a seizure issue, that's all going to be documented in that packet that's contained in your glove compartment. So that's great. And the picture, a lot of people question me, why do I have to have my picture? That's because if there's other occupants in the car, they know to be able to identify that this is the person who the medical information is about. And it's very important. And I tell a lot of the older adults that whenever you go anywhere, if you get in somebody else's car, I can give you a couple of yellow dots, and you can put it, like if you don't drive, but you're always with a friend, then give your friend the yellow dot, and you and your friend should both be on the program. Put both of them just take it with you wherever you go, especially if you're in someone else's car. I have people that say they have a number of cars. Well, you know what? I'll give you whatever you need just to make sure that you're safe. So, and I want to speak on that because a lot of the traffic accidents, especially when the time changes at dawn, that's when a lot of seniors have most of their accidents. I do a little bit of stats on driving and the accident rate and things like that, but I don't like to go out and scare people. That's not my purpose on doing this. It's just to help them have a better chance at things, have a better chance at safety in a better environment.
Mm-hmm. Can you give us
that's the Yellow Dot program.
Can you give us some of the stats that you have found to be really remarkable as far as, how it impacts the older adult?
Well, with all the advances in technology, as you know, in the medical field, people are living much older, like right now. So that, like by 2030, 76% of the drivers are going to be over 65 years old. So that's a big thing to know. And a lot of them, I have a senior right now that's 104 years old and she's still driving.
Wow.
And I was astounded by that. I'm like, you still drive? She said, well, I don't go far. I go to the grocery store and I go to my doctor's appointment, which are local, but I'm like 104 and you're still driving. And I tell them that, a lot of the reasons why seniors do have accidents is because of visual issues, hearing loss, things that happen as you progress in age. That's why, your reflexes aren't as fast. Mm-hmm. But I always say, who has more accidents, men or women? And there, everyone starts yelling or whatever, but men have more accidents, but they drive more than women. But percentage wise, women crash more. So it's, little things like that. And it's just that there will be a lot more drivers older in 2030 as we progress in the years.
Wow. Very fascinating. Fascinating. So I love the idea that people who are enlisted in the Yellow Dot program, they could have multiple yellow dots in case, they have a friend who tends to want to drive, or mm-hmm. maybe a daughter or son who takes that person back and forth to a doctor's appointment. So that's a great idea. I love it. So are there other communities, counties out there in the Commonwealth who's using the Yellow Dot?
I believe that Essex County may be doing it, but I did try to contact them and I didn't get a response back. But for the most part, we're getting calls from all over the state to see if that we're able to provide the Yellow Dot program to them. And we would do anything for anybody anywhere, but I'd just like to go train other cities and towns on how to present this program. And it's a very easy program to promote. It takes 10 minutes from start to finish to promote it. Mm-hmm. Just the longest part of it is taking a picture. I think if I have one, you should have had one with me, but just see. So this is what it looks like. If I can put that up there. So this is our sheriff.
Yeah.
And so this is the Yellow Dot envelope that goes in the car, in the glove compartment, and it has all your information on the back. And inside each packet is a yellow dot, which is right here. You get the packet, then you get the list of your information. You fill that out. Everything should always be filled out in pencil. That way, you know that it can be changed if it has to be. And the yellow dot is right here. It's a little yellow dot that you stick to the back driver's side window. So when someone sees this, this is the indicator that you have this in your glove compartment.
Wonderful, wonderful. And do all, somebody's asking, where do I get a yellow dot from? How can somebody get the yellow dot?
Okay, so I normally just don't hand out the yellow dots because you have to take a picture to affix it to the front of it so that we do so you have to have me come out or have someone in the staff come out and do like either a little presentation or sit with you specifically and explain the program. Take your picture, put it on the front of the envelope, because that's the purpose of it, is to identify, you know, so it has to be set up. But we do have people calling saying, can I have a yellow dot? But if you don't have the packet with the picture and the information inside, then it's really not worth anything.
Oh, I see.
You know, it's a package deal that goes together. So that's why I'm trying to get the word out to other communities that they should really get this and spread the word.
What is the best way for people to know after watching this program, people who live in Middleborough, people who live maybe in, you know, I don't know, Arlington, and they watch this and they think, oh my gosh, I want that packet. How can I get one? Who can I approach to bring Cheryl Banbury to the
community? Yes. So you can call me directly at my office, or that 1-800 number that we will provide for the Are You OK program, and I can try to set it up, or I can contact your local sheriff's office and see if they have it available. And if they don't, then maybe just give that, you know, ask them if they would like to try to start it up and give them the information and show them how to begin getting the word out on the Yellow Dot program.
And training a sheriff's department or, you know, different departments across the Commonwealth, does that take a long time to train? No. The training would be just sitting and explaining to them how the program works, what needs to be done, the equipment that you need to have to put it together, and just we order the forms and the packets from. Oh. So that's it. It's not, I mean, it could basically even be a phone call to let other people know how to set it up. But like, you know, I can't just send the yellow dots to people, because I've had people call me and just say, can I have a yellow dot? But you need the whole packet. And we have, now that we've expanded our staff, we have a large community outreach program. We can possibly get more people trained from my department to go out and do that. Well, they are being trained actually to go out and be able to present on these programs. Yeah, I can see how important it is to have the full package, because once you implement it, the people who are going to be looking for it and using it are going to be expecting documentations, appropriate documentations, like the picture, like you said, right? And also the medication list and medical history. So I can see how important it is to do it correctly.
And also when I do go to any specific city or town, I talk to the police and the fire, like I'll call them just to make sure that they're aware of it, because they may have new people on staff that are not aware of it, just to explain to them, I'm coming to your town. Maybe you want to send someone from the police or the fire to come check it out if you're not really that familiar with it, or just even I just give them the courtesy of letting them know what we have and what we can provide for them, just to make sure that they're there. But you know, from doing this program before, most of the cities and towns are aware of this program and what that yellow dot means.
Wonderful. And also EMS, if the police and the fire would be aware of it, the EMS certainly would be, right?
Yeah, any first responder should be aware of this program, yes. And the ambulance, everybody that, you know, gets called to the scene.
Yeah, that's a great idea. So, as far as writing it in pencil, very important, because as we all know, our
medications change.
Medications change, medication doses change, frequency change, allergies change, medical history changes, right? So,
Yes. And that brings me to segue right into my next point. I don't know if you and I talked about this, but the File of Life program.
mhm. Yeah,
So
that's
so this program also, it kind of goes hands in hands with the Are You Okay program and the Yellow Ducks. It has your information on it. Okay. So this has a magnetic strip on the back so it can go on a refrigerator. This has all your pertinent medical information, just like the insert for the Yellow Dot program. Then we have a smaller version that can fit into a gentleman's wallet or a woman's purse. And what we say with these are fill them out in pencil, as you said, because everything changes all the time with medications. And also a lot of pharmacies will give you a printout of your meds. You can just fold it up and pop it in here. And what I say to a lot of Council on Agings is, when you go on a bus trip or you go anywhere, they use this as a pass to get on the bus. If you don't have this with you when you get on, then you can't go. It's just so that it ensures the safety that if you faint or you fall or something happens while you're on your trip, on a day trip, they have this information for you to contact someone.
Oh, that's a great idea.
So your refrigerator, I had a gentleman in Wellesley. He was actually a doctor, and he was having people over for Easter one year. And, it was just some random friends. It wasn't any close family that was there. And this was on his refrigerator, and he ended up fainting. And no one knew what was going on. They saw this on the refrigerator and grabbed it and found out he was a diabetic, and he had low sugar or something. And it told them where the medication was. It was in his refrigerator. So they got it. Somebody else, I believe, was a doctor there and helped him out, administered it. But so it was like, and I said, how can a doctor not know? I mean, how could his family not know, or friends? And they said it was a random group of people, and no one really knew that he had diabetes.
Wow.
So just like little things like that, like you never know when something's going to happen. And these are great to have.
Wow, great point. That's a very good tip, especially for people who are on medications, to always have, you gave me one, so I have it right here.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah, you have that.
So it's really very good to have on hand, especially you don't even have to be an older adult. If you're on a list of medications, it's always good to have it with you.
Yeah, I keep all my medical cards in there. I went to one of my seniors' houses for a visit, just to chat, and I saw that she had put all of her grandchildren's pictures in the front. I'm like, oh, that's not what it's for. This is not an envelope for pictures. This is for your medical information. Because then if you see pictures there, you're not really sure what it's for, right? So use it for what it's for, folks.
Yeah. And why is it important? Again, can you just reiterate why it's important to have one of those on the refrigerator? Why it has a magnet?
It has a magnet so that it will stick to the refrigerator, but also it's like right there front and center, so that if the people respond to your house, fire, ambulance, police, they can just see that on your refrigerator and know what's going on with you. If you're having a seizure, if you have a blood disorder, if you have a fainting disorder. Mm-hmm. So this has helped out a lot of people in the past when they've responded. They say, oh, I see here that I'm supposed to contact you. Like a couple of people that don't have anybody else, when there's no one else to respond to, it's usually the police that they call. But they said, we knew that this person was on your program, so we called you, and do you have any further information on this individual? So,
yeah. Yeah. And I love the tip that you gave, because after a while, if you keep using pencils, eventually it's going to get messy. So your tip was to just print out your med list from the pharmacy, or from, after, when you see your primary care doctor, usually they give you the after visit summary, right? And your med list. Yeah. So great tip. I love that.
Yes. And a lot of times I give them extra cards in case, when I see people out at different events, they'll say, oh, do you have any more of those cards? Mine's old and I need a new one. Yes, of course. Provide that.
Perfect. And is there a cost to these? No.
None of these are a cost. No.
Okay. And where can they get that?
Your local senior centers in Norfolk County, that we provide them to those people. And a lot of times when there are if I do a presentation at a building, they give them to everybody, all the new people that are moving in, they'll give them one of those. to have too. So, I mean, you can just call and request. I can give you that number too. You can call me at the number that we use, and I can get you to the right person to get the file of lives if you need them.
Wonderful, wonderful. And somebody just put on the chat, the magnet part, I guess, doesn't work too well on stainless steel doors. So you'd probably have to get one of those magnets that has a clip to make sure that it's
yes, I've heard that in the past too.
Yeah, very good point. Very good point. All right. Anything else you can share with us?
Yes. So we also do fall prevention. We do a fall prevention program where I go out and I show you how to get up from a fall. I give you tips on how to get out of a chair if you're having trouble getting out of a chair. Little like exercises, like, roll your ankles around, so in case you get up and your foot's asleep. But also basically it's just things that everybody really knows, but they just haven't been thinking about it in a long time. Like, you should have a light at the top of the stairs and at the bottom also, so that they're not dark when you're going up and down them. You shouldn't have to walk around furniture. You should have a straight path. Don't climb on stools. In the kitchen, something that you use all the time, keep in front of you so that you don't have to reach up on shelves to try to get it. Just keep it on your counter. As we age and we get older, no one's going to frown upon you for having all stuff on your counter, I don't think, unless it's excessive. And have night lights all along the way from when you get out of the bed to go to the bathroom at night. 50% of seniors, half of them, when they get up in the middle of the night to go to the bathroom, that's when they fall. So make sure you have a clear path to the bathroom, and make sure you have night lights. One of my older adults said to me, I have a phone on the floor. And I said, where do you have that? And she said, because if I ever fell and I couldn't get up, then I know that there's a phone on the floor and I know how to get to it. Whereas if it's up on the wall, or I don't have my cell phone and it's in my purse somewhere, I know that I can get to my phone that's on the floor, which is 9 times out of 10 a landline. But I just thought that was a great idea. Don't carry heavy things up and down the stairs. Don't do that if you don't have to. I had a woman 2 weeks ago that fell changing a light bulb in her basement, right off, broke her ankle. Just don't put anything on the stairs. Don't walk around in your house with socks on slippery surfaces, and scatter rugs. Scatter rugs are crazy. Everyone trips on scatter rugs. If you don't have to have them, don't have them. But, I know people get into their habits and they have to keep them the way they have them. I had a gentleman that I went to their house for a visit, and I saw that he had a mat there. And I said, that's very dangerous. You don't really need that. Okay, I'll move it. I went there like 2 weeks later, and there it was again. The mat was right back where it was. But it's just one of those things that you don't want to have to trip over the mat. And, the main consequence of a fall, as we all know, is loss of independence. So after a fall, if you break a hip or you break something in your body, then you're going to go to a hospital. And as you know this, you're going to stay 2 times, 3 times longer than you would if you went in there for a sickness, a cold or something, because you have to go to a rehab after that. I say to people, you don't know how much a fall costs. And the average cost of a fall without follow-up visits is $1,940. And people find that to be very surprising. And I understand that there's insurance issues, but that's just basically, and then they will depend on their family and friends for help, and that's the one thing they didn't want to do. My mom, I said, don't go to work one day. There was black ice. I said, don't go. You don't need to go. You have plenty of time off. Well, she went and she fell and she hit her back, and she never went back to work again. I mean, she's fine now. She's great. Just celebrated her 87th birthday, but she, it's just like the little things that you have to pay attention to. Phone cords, like these cords for phones, like on computers that are everywhere. People are always tripping over those, make sure they're coiled up. And I always say to people, I know you will know this, and it's not like I'm teaching you anything new. It's just to remind you to think about these things again,
Mm-hmm.
So
very good point.
Yeah, a lot of fall prevention. We do a lot of intergenerational programming also, and that's like new and upcoming because so many people, those are the 2 generations that are the most isolated. So we do would you like me to just touch upon those?
Yeah. Actually, before you do that, because I know it's a little bit different from the fall prevention, I just wanted to share something. So as far as the phone being on the floor.
Oh, yes.
I think that's a great idea, but that could be a tripping hazard as well. But if that person,
Yeah, they said to put it on the floor behind the couch or something, just where the only place where it's out of sight where they know where it is, so that they wouldn't, hopefully they wouldn't fall over it,
Yeah, and hopefully they fall near it, not
Yes.
away from it. But I know I did a fall prevention program at the Quincy Council of Aging, and one of the women there said to me, she said that she has an Alexa in every room. And I thought that was great. So Alexa cannot call 911, but it can call, an emergency contact like her son or her daughter or maybe the neighbor. So if she did fall, and this is her being proactive, and she's very, smart and quick and very, very coordinated, absolutely young at heart. And for her to say, I have an Alexa in every room, just in case, I was just like very, very inspired by that, because it's you just never know. You never know. Bathroom is a common place for falling, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And bedrooms, outside, you just never know. Of course, you can't use Alexa on the outside, but just kind of being a detective and thinking about how can you best set yourself up for success in case something happens is so important.
Yes, and a lot of times I find that the older adults take if they wear the safety alert system, they'll take it off before they go to bed, and some take it off before they get in the shower, and that's the worst thing you can do. I believe most 90% of them are waterproof. So I mean, I just don't understand a lot of times when they take them off, and then they're like, oh, it was hanging on the bathroom door when I fell in the living room. They just had if we could just remind people to leave those on. They have the wrist ones now. They have all the different ones that they could wear.
Yeah, definitely. I am a big proponent of that. But the only thing is, they just need to make sure that the pendant part, if it's the necklace, is always on the front. They're not laying on it or leaning up against it, because it's going to set it off.
Right. And whenever I present on the Are You Okay program, I said, you should always have Are You Okay, because it's great if you have the safety alert, but if you're unconscious, you can't push it. Or I had a woman that did fall, and she landed on her bracelet and she couldn't move it to alert it. It was like, this was a while back, and she couldn't move it to alert it. But when I called, she didn't answer. I called her daughter-in-law, and she went over and found her on the ground.
Wow.
But then, of course, they yelled at her, like, why didn't you press your button? She's like, I couldn't. It was under the arm that I just broke.
Oh, gosh.
It's crazy.
Yeah. Wow. That's great to have that Are You Okay program then as another safety net.
Yeah, I just thought of that story.
All right. So can you talk about the intergenerational program
But I just forgot that we also do frauds and scams.
I think you can talk about it. I think it's wonderful.
Yes, the frauds and scams is great also, because every week there's a new scam, there's a new fraud. And my background is I worked inside the prison at one time, inside the jail, as a correctional officer. And I talked to a gentleman one day, and he said to me, we think I forget why he was in there. It was something to do with robbery or whatever. And he said, we have eight hours a day to sit in here and just think of different things that we can do. He goes, most of the time we like to think of good things, but sometimes I'm like, they have different ideas on just different ways to, that they could scam someone or do something. And I said, that's a terrible thought, but I mean, it's the reality of the situation. He did say that, So I always tell people that your gut is going to tell you whether, if it's a right or wrong. If you think you're scammed, you're definitely going to be, in a situation where it's a possibility. It's always, and this is a good thing for people to remember, it's always a prize or a problem that they're promising you or talking about. Oh, there's a problem with your account. We need to reset your PIN. What's your old PIN number? Or you won a prize. Give me your social security number so that we can just make sure we have the right person. So it's always a problem or a prize. And there's always a gut feeling. If you get that gut feeling, then stay with your gut, follow your gut feeling. I've had so many people that have been involved with the grandparent scam where they say have this child that's screaming in the background and they've been hurt. We need you to come help them. Or, they're in trouble. Usually it's teenagers that are in trouble for drunk driving or something, and you need to come get them. We'll keep it quiet if you pay $2,000. They've called from the sheriff's department saying, they've spoofed the phone line. So it looks like it's coming from the sheriff's department, and they know people's names in the building. they'll say, Joe Smith from the sheriff's office, you didn't pay a fine, so we're coming to get you. You owe $2,000. We have someone on the way there now, which no one from the IRS, anything like that, is ever gonna call you and demand money, and demand payment, or demand information over the phone from you. And some people, they love getting the phone calls. They don't get another phone call all day. And the scammer will talk fast and quickly and get you confused and just make it like a very rushed situation. So you have to make a decision and you're overwhelmed. And, with the older adults, they don't hear well. They have like some nervousness. They're nervous and they're very naive. They, in their day and age, none of this happened. It wasn't as bad as it is now, where they're saying, we have your grandson here and he's going to jail if you don't pay this amount. Well, of course. So always have a code word with your family, if they're saying someone's in trouble. We always say that. But, I had a lady that said that someone called and they said, Grandma, I'm in trouble. Well, she said, no one has ever called me grandma and I have no grandchildren. So it was like, little things like that happen with the scams and things. So I go out and I speak on that. We just go over different scams of the day, what's going on, the banking scams, things like that. A lot of people can lose their life savings if they give the wrong information out over the phone. I just say, don't give any out. And a lot of times they'll tell you to, you'll say, give me your phone number. They'll give you their friend's phone number. And you say, I'll call you right back. And you call back and you're getting their friend that's sitting beside them on the phone. So that never works. Call a family member or a trusted family friend that and just say, do you think this is right? Or just someone that, a second thought about it can give you a second thought on that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Never touch links on cell phones either. They'll always bring you to the bad place.
Say that again.
Never touch links. If someone says, this is Citizens Bank or Quincy Credit Union or something like that, press this link for some important information. Don't ever do that. Mm-hmm. You can call the bank with a secure number that belongs to that bank.
Mm-hmm. Very good point. Yeah. Yeah. And I'm hearing the same thing about some QR codes too. You have to be careful scanning some QR codes.
Yes, because that's just people putting their own QR codes there that goes right to their own bank account.
Wow.
Yeah, it's just so crazy that people say they just sit there, they can come up with these things. And then, once you stay on the phone with someone, I did a report on this for one of the classes that I took, and they sell your information to somebody else. So I'll say, oh, Debbie, can you give me your list? Because I have a great list of people that will fall for anything. You give me your list and I'll give you mine. So they share them.
Wow.
It's crazy. Who comes up with this? And they spoof the numbers. It looks like it's coming from your bank. If you know a person that works in the bank or we know a manager, ask for them, just because they can spoof these numbers.
Wow. Wow. And do you find the number of frauds and scams is at an all-time high?
Yes, I do, especially during the holiday season, because people just have no idea. There's one scam that I just wanted to mention because it's the United States Post Office. It looks like it's coming from them, and they'll say, we have a package for you. So you're like, oh, I have a package. And then, so you call, they give you a number on it looks like a real sticker or something, or a piece of mail or a call. And you give them the information and your credit card. And they say, oh, it's for $2.99 to deliver it. So we need a credit card number. You give them your credit card. And then next thing you know, you have 10 iPads from Washington State that were purchased on your account. So what they're saying is, we need your credit card number or something like that, or your bank account number, because it's a minimum of $2.99. That's it. And you give that to them, and then it's a fake. It's a totally fake call. And it's it looks real. United States Postal Service.
Wow.
Yeah.
They're just becoming more and more clever. I mean, I get that all the time. I also got the IRS phone call a long time ago. That's very
Social Security. Social Security calls all the time. Your information has been compromised. Please call us immediately.
Yeah. So when people get a phone call like that, what should, you said gut instinct, but technically the proper way of getting any information from IRS and Social Security would be through mail, correct?
Yes. Okay. And then a secure phone number.
Hmm.
A lot of times you get something from Amazon and it has that little dash on the top of it, and it's not really Amazon. They'll say, "Oh, your packages are undeliverable due to a bad account." And then I look at my Amazon account, and my packages they're in transit, they're on the way. So it's just they'll do anything these days just to trick you.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. I think we have a few more minutes. Well, we're doing good for time. Can you talk about the intergenerational program?
Yes. So that's one of my favorite things to do. So we have a program called the YES program. It's Youth Empowering Seniors. And I had heard about something similar to that they did at Pace University. And I just thought it was crazy and incredible and interesting. So I started to do it around in Quincy. I started off with a group of nursing students. I knew the dean at the school, and I talked to him about it. We kind of kicked around a few ideas. So we had a bunch of the nursing students. I did some sensitivity training with them. So I met with them, asked them if they were interested in working with seniors, 1 hour a week for 5 weeks. And what their job would be how to find apps that would help the seniors, like accessibility apps, all kinds of different things. And the job with the seniors who signed up to join the program was they had to have questions every week when they come. What did they want to learn? Like, what did they need to know? Why does technology frighten them? So we did it at Southern Otter in Quincy, our first class, and it was great. We had one woman there that she had an iPad, but she never used FaceTime, and she had never seen her 2 great-grandchildren. They were twins, born 6 weeks prior. So the student, I called the daughter on her cell phone and just said, we're going to be calling you FaceTime. We're doing a class in the sheriff's office, explained the whole thing. And the woman saw the 2 grandbabies for the first time. She was crying. She was so happy. Like, the daughter was like, "This is great." Even like with the Waze maps, we had a woman that was deaf. And when she went to her doctor's appointment, she never really understood what was going on. She'd have an interpreter come with her and this and that. But then we found Dragon Dictation, or some kind of a device where the doctor would talk into the phone and it would print it right out. So she could read it. So it was like right on her phone. So that was great too. And also it's like just watching the interaction between the kids. It was right around prom season. So the high school girls were getting ready for their prom. And the older women was talking about how like the prom in their day and what they used to do. And like, just like the whole conversation for an hour was great. What do you want to learn? What do you want to do? And some of them are still friends to this day. I have 2 girls who still visit the same one, the woman that they met. So I signed one-on-one individual. So it's like, I'm assigned to this woman and I'll have her the whole time. And I don't like pick and choose. They just pick themselves. Just say, I don't try to set it up on personalities. And it's just we did it in Randolph, we did it in Braintree, and it's just been fabulous every time we've done it. It's just a great thing to do. And it's just to watch them interact, and the kids love it just as much as the seniors love it. Like the sensitivity is what I have gloves that I put straws in and mix arthritis. I put Vaseline on glasses and ask the student to try to read directions on a bottle, and that mimics glaucoma. So just like, so that they know what the senior is going through, like, oh, I tape their fingers together, try to open this bottle, that mimics someone that might have had a stroke. So it's all different things, and it's fun for them. It's fun for them to learn, and it's fun for them to interact, and everyone gets a lot out of it. And then the other program that I do is the Youth in Valor program, where I have students from the high school that are interested in history or journalism, and I have them meet with like 5 veterans from a community. They meet for an hour and a half, 2 hours, and the veterans tell the students their story, whether it be what they got out of serving our country, whether they would miss their family or they lost a friend, or the different issues they had while they were serving our country. And then the student writes an essay about it. And then we have a very formal lunch with china and everything. And the students get up, the students invite their families, the veterans invite their families, and the student will get up and read the essay and what he took from his interview with the veteran. And there's always tears in the room. And it's just another, because a lot of older gentlemen don't, interact, or they don't go to senior centers as much as involved as the women. So I wanted to find something that would get the men involved. But we also had a lot of female veterans that were involved in the program too. So it was great just watching them all interact.
Wow.
Another great program. And it's a win-win for the students in the YES program and the students in the Youth in Valor program, because they get community service hours and they get a nice certificate of recognition from the sheriff. And the older adults just get the time to spend with kids and that they may never get to do, like, in a normal daily routine.
Yeah, wonderful.
So it's fun.
Wow, that's so wonderful. So let's say a city or town was to watch this, and then a group of students decide, oh, I want to do something like that with veterans. How can they initiate that? What can they do? Would they contact you so that way they could have you talk with their teachers or talk to their schools? How would that work?
Yeah, so I could help them to set it up, and then they could either do it on their own, or they could, to duplicate the program, or I could just facilitate it, which is great also. I mean, like with the veterans program, I give the students a packet, which I think is very important, on how to speak to a veteran. Like, you don't want to ask them questions like, did you kill someone, or anything like that. Like, you don't want to do that. And also don't talk, with slang words, and be very respectful, dress respectful. They're a veteran. They've served our country. They deserve the utmost respect. So just so that, like, the little things like that, and I'm sure teachers would know how to instill that in them, but just because I ask a guidance counselor or someone to make sure that their essays they're working on them and they're on time, and that that they're essay worthy. I guess I don't want someone to write 3 lines and be done with it, because that would not be a good service to the veteran.
Yeah. Wow. I think that's a great idea. I mean, it's a nice way to really teach the younger generation, and also to have the older generation feel like they're heard and witnessed, and just be appreciated for, the work they've done for the country. Wonderful.
Yeah, we say the latest generation to the greatest generation, things like that. And it's just, that's also a great program. I mean, they are like, the kids will say, I'm thinking about going into the service. Like, what are your ideas on that? And the gentlemen come with their suits on, and one woman had her whole gear, like her hat and her jacket that she wore when she was in the service. So it's pretty cool. Like, it really is. It's very impressive when it's done.
I can see how the programs that you help initiate and also just roll out, they require an interconnectedness, whether it's the "Are you okay?" having somebody from the sheriff's department checking in on somebody, the yellow dot, making sure that in case there's an accident out in the roadways, other people, first responders, police, everybody, will be able to know what to do when they see the yellow dot. So it's just another way of looking out for each other. Same thing with the intergenerational program that you offer. It's really a wonderful way to really kind of create this, like, a close-knit village in a way that can look out for each other and take care of each other.
Yes. And a lot of people think that the sheriff's office is just in charge of the jail, but Sheriff McDermott makes sure that we have this great community engagement team, and they work with veterans and they work with students, and we have the camp, and the sheriff is very big on the older adults and the children. And he understands, that there are a lot of kids that are isolated. There are a lot of kids that are at a disadvantage. There are seniors the same in situation. And he just wants everybody to be well taken care of and be safe in the community. And it gives us this option to present all these programs.
That's wonderful. So we have a few minutes. We have a few minutes left. What do you want people to come away with? And also, how can people get in touch with you?
I want people to come away with the idea that we are here for you, that there are people that you can reach out to if you need something. Don't be afraid to ask. Like, we can help you out with that. And also that, you're not alone. I just feel like these days people are so isolated. They don't have anybody. They don't have an advocate. They don't have people that are looking out for them or helping them. So all these programs provide that for you. And I want people to know that the Are You Okay program is so important. And I always say, why not have it? We have plenty of room for plenty of people on the program. It reassures your family and friends that you're going to be okay. very flexible. If you don't like it, you don't have to stay on it. You can just use it when you need it. What else do I want to say? People should utilize these programs. And if you want to use these programs, then you can just call the sheriff's office. You can call me at the toll-free number we have. It's 1-866-900-7865. The last four numbers actually spell "Are you okay?" And, if we can't help you with something, then we can put you in the right direction of people that can help you. I mean, we have the comfort dog that will go out. He's great. We have a lot of resources, and we have a lot of great people that go out and do the work in the community to, provide.
Yeah, that's wonderful. It's so great to know these resources being available. And I'm sure after watching this, people will start calling you, Cheryl. And
I hope so. Yes. Anything you need, give us a call. I mean, the Are You Okay program, like I said, we've dealt with over 5,000 seniors over the years. We've had the program since 2002. And we started off with a small community in Stoughton, and now we're in 28 cities and towns.
Wonderful. Wonderful.
It's just a great program.
That's great. So again, with the Are You Okay program, do you have to be within the county, Norfolk County?
Yes, but right now it's only because we have an agreement with all the different police stations in our county, and we don't want to overstep, other cities and towns. But, if any other cities and towns would like to be trained on that, then I could definitely, make that work too. If anyone's on the vineyard wants me to come down and spend a week there, I'll train you guys.
Hint,
hint, hint, right?
Well, we are on the top of the hour. I want to thank you so much, Cheryl, for being on the program, and of course the Norfolk County Sheriff's Office for sharing you with us, and hopefully many more cities and towns and counties out there will benefit and feel inspired to incorporate a lot of these programs that you shared with us today. I also want to thank the Quincy Health Department for sponsoring Aging Strong. Thank you so much, and until next time, everybody, be safe.